Alexa, stop. Way too early for you. Oh my gosh, it's 8:30 in the morning and you're starting already? I don't think so. Well, there's a lot going on, actually. And we're going to get right into it. But first, I'm going to wait till I officially go live. Which is now. On YouTube. There we go. That was pretty wild as a little off topic, but that Air Canada plane hitting that fire truck, that was bizarre. LaGuardia Airport. I believe 2 people have lost their life. My gosh. What is going on? But definitely some news this morning. You could forget about that deadline tonight. That's off the table. Because he put this on Truth Social this morning. And the Iranians are denying it. They're saying, we have not been discussing anything with them. He's retreating. He's backing down. So, this is what he put on Truth Social this morning. I am pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran have had, over the last 2 days, very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East based on the tenor and tone of these in-depth, detailed, and constructive conversations, which, spelt wrong, will continue throughout the week. I have instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period, subject to the success of the ongoing meetings and discussions. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Wow, that's a freaking 180. That's a big 180. So that deadline is bye-bye for tonight. Bye-bye. He put this out this morning. And guess what happened to the oil prices? They just plunged precipitously after he did this. They just went down. But Iran is denying this. Iran is saying that this is not true. Fars news agency quotes an Iranian source, there are no direct or indirect negotiations with Trump. He backed down after hearing our threats. So I don't know what's going to happen in the next few days. Is there going to be a lull? I don't know. Let me see what the other side is putting. Trump and America have retreated again. The battle continues to progress rapidly. Another defeat for the devil. That's what they just put. And simultaneously that this is going on, Israeli airstrikes reported across Tehran and Iran. So Israel's not letting up. We deny what U.S. President Donald Trump said regarding negotiations taking place between the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran. The Islamic Republic of Iran adheres to its position, rejecting any type of negotiations before achieving Iran's goals from the war. This is coming from the other side. Trump's remarks are a retreat from his previous threats, but the Islamic Republic of Iran still adheres to all its declared positions. Iran's position on the Strait of Hormuz has not changed, and the strait will remain closed to those who attack the Islamic Republic and its people. So despite what he said here, claiming that they've been talking for the last couple days, they're denying it. So I don't know what the heck is going on. I have no clue what the heck is going on. And it could be definitely part of the strategy because the market, the oil market just dropped, brought the prices down. Now, he said for 5 days. But he did say 5-day pause attacking power plants and energy infrastructure. That doesn't mean anything else. That doesn't mean that he's still not going to go after missiles and drones and IRGC and everything else. It only mentions that he told the military not to attack energy infrastructure and power plants for 5 days, which leads to next weekend. So who knows? And he said it's based on the success of the meetings and discussions. So it definitely can be. Definitely can be. And now they have 5 days to produce exactly somebody as their spokesperson or representatives because we know it ain't over. Exactly. So that came out this morning. So forget about that deadline tonight. That's out. He's not going to hit any power plants or energy infrastructure. I think he thought twice about it and said, oh. And he heard it from other countries, individuals, including maybe in his own administration. I don't know, Mr. President, if that's such a great idea. Who knows? I'm definitely speculating. I have no idea. What?
Home Front Command update. Incident ended. The incident has ended in the following areas.
What the hell happened in London? Ambulances set on fire in London. There's no audio. This is why the UK, cray cray. So they set fire to ambulances in London. It's crazy. Starmer must be in the bathroom right now. There's no audio to it. Wow, that is crazy. Setting fires to ambulances. Trump and Iran. This is regime change because it's totally different people. What the heck is going on? Reuters. Washington updated Israel on its talks with Tehran, and Israel is likely expected to follow the U.S. and suspend any attacks on power plants and energy infrastructure in Iran.
More than any one person. The president went on to say or insist that this is regime change because it's totally different people that were involved in the last regime. I would imagine some of the people are the same. This is the president's take on that, insisting that it's regime change.
How the heck is this regime change? I don't know. I mean, that person's just commentating on it. So I'm glad he's decided not to do it too, Marianne. I thought it was a mistake myself. That was major escalation. The possibility that they hit the desalinization plants and energy infrastructure in the Arab states. That could have been an utter disaster for the region and the economies. But it's the water supply is to 100 million people, and they threatened it. So I'm glad he didn't make that decision. The mission should be simple: decapitate, decimate Iran, the IRGC, the Basij, the security forces, so that the people can go out and revolt. That's it. Do what you got to do. Don't go for that. I'm glad he decided not to do it either. I mean, really. Israel launches fresh strikes in Tehran as Trump announces talks being held with Iran on ending the war. Oh my gosh. What the heck is going on? Do you still have all of Parliament intact, all those clerics and mullahs? I don't know what the heck is going on. I'm confused now this morning. Could this all be part of a strategy? Yes, it can be. He definitely helped the markets go down in oil. I should check it. I should check Brent crude. The market's open soon here. But that is... I wasn't expecting that when I woke up. It went down to 103. It went down by 5.29%. It's at 103.38. I mean 103.88 right now. Let's see how it acts throughout the day now. Remember that number. So let's see if that drops throughout the day based on what he said, because that could be totally strategic as well. Definitely. I agree with that, but he's saying the reasoning behind it is that he's negotiating with Iran. But who the hell is he talking to? Who is he talking to? The foreign minister, they're all saying, it wasn't us. So who's he talking to? Who in Iran is he talking to? Remember, he said, we killed all their leaders. And there is still some really radically extreme clerics and mullahs in that parliament. And the statements I just seen on Telegram coming from the media from the other side is like, oh, hell no, we're not negotiating with the United States, indirectly or directly. They're like brushing it off, but I don't believe what they say either. But they're putting it all out there. I mean, if you hear the rhetoric coming from the other side based on these statements. And here's one graphic that they put up. Crude oil prices are tanking after President Trump said he would postpone strikes on Iranian energy infrastructure. This is what the other side is putting out there. Look at that. And I don't know if this is true, but it looks like it is strategically, it's working if it's affecting the markets like that. But this is what they said, the media for the other side. We deny what U.S. President Donald Trump said about negotiations between the United States and the Islamic Republic of Iran. The Islamic Republic of Iran adheres to its position of rejecting any kind of negotiation before achieving Iran's objectives from the war. Trump's remarks are a retreat from his previous threats, but the Islamic Republic of Iran still adheres to all its declared positions. Iran's position on the Strait of Hormuz has not changed, and the strait will remain closed to those who attack the Islamic Republic and its people. A spokesman for the National Security Committee in the Iranian parliament. This is what I say. You got to get rid of these parliament members. This is the core of the regime. You may have taken out the leaders, but the core is still in the parliament. They're still in the parliament. There are some cray-cray folks in that parliament still, and there's quite a few of them. He said, Ibrahim Razaei, Trump and America have retreated again. The battle continues to progress rapidly. another defeat for the devil. So they're not easing up on the rhetoric side on the other side. They're not. So I don't know what the heck how this is gonna play out, to be honest. Exactly. I don't get it either. Beethoven. I don't get it. I don't get it either. I'm a little confused this morning. Just a little bit. And I think there's two reasons. One is to affect the oil market, which looks like it could be successful in bringing the prices down. One, but that's temporary. Two, he realized if you're going to hit their power plants and energy infrastructure, you're really going to cripple the civilians. You're going to hurt the people themselves. Not necessarily the regime, but the people. And then the retaliation threats by Iran saying they would attack desalination plants in Arab states and their energy infrastructure. Well, I'm sure he got some phone calls from them. Mr. President, you may want to think this over carefully about attacking their energy infrastructure because the ramifications could be disastrous for the region. I don't know. Who knows? But this is bizarre. I woke up to it and I was like, what is this? Stay focused on the mission. And he said, it's like he changes every day. It's like he said there is no negotiations. He wants total surrender. He said there is no negotiations. I'm not negotiating with them. He said that a couple of days ago on his way to Marine One with Rubio in the background. There are no negotiations. But was that putting it out there? Meanwhile, he is talking to them? I'm confused. But maybe that's on purpose. Anyway, let's get into the other stuff because that really caught my eye this morning. I was like, what is going on? Let's take a look at some video from Iran. Let's put some sound. So there was a lot of stuff going on this morning in Iran. This is all in Iran. And it looks like they were targeting Israeli. I don't know if it was the Israelis or the U.S., but looks like they were targeting someone. Remember, this was overnight. This is LaGuardia.
The plane just tilted back.
This is bizarre. This is off topic, but this is bizarre what happened in LaGuardia last night. An Air Canada plane.
As they're deplaning, they just lifted in the air. Holy.
I believe 2 people lost their life in that. I believe that's the report. Don't take my word for it, but I believe I seen that report. So here's the Calm production plant. Look at it. And there's still alerts. They're not going to stop. Iran is not going to stop. They could misinterpret this as being a position of weakness. And now they're saying, oh, it looks like he wants to end this war. Well, we're not ready to do that. They may interpret that as weakness. I don't know what the hell. Again, in Iran. It looks like they were going after someone. Okay, that's the same. Oh, wait. We'll go back to that. Again, Iran. Let's go back to the other video, into Iran International.
Into the Operation Epic Fury, how do you describe what you've done so far and what have you achieved and was accomplished during this time?
Yeah, I believe that our achievements are obvious. If you zoom out and look at the situation, the Iranian Navy is no longer at sea. The Iranian Air Force is no longer flying. The air defense is no longer shooting. And the large salvos of drones and missiles that you saw at the beginning of the war have now largely degraded into onesies and twosies, 1 and 2 at this point. My overall assessment is that we are on plan to achieve our main military objectives.
Are you ahead of what you've scheduled before? Because that's what I've heard from President and Secretary Hexas, that you're ahead of what has been scheduled.
Yeah, we're largely ahead or on plan for our main military objectives. The principal objective is to prevent the Islamic Republic from being able to project power from its own borders to affect both Americans as well as regional partners. And we're focused on 3 principal military objectives: eliminating the ballistic missiles, eliminating drones, and sinking the Navy, as well as eliminating the manufacturing for each of those 3 areas. No more manufacturing of drones, no more manufacturing of missiles, and no more manufacturing for the Navy. And we are definitely on plan for all of that, and in some cases ahead.
And obviously the operation still goes on. Why is that? If you achieve the objectives, so why is
didn't
it
say
still
that.
going? And for how long
did not
do you
say
think
that.
this operation? I don't want you to
Just
give
putting
me an
words in his
exact
mouth.
number
He didn't say
or
they had
weeks
completed.
or a timeline, but what do you imagine that this is gonna lead to?
Yeah, I would. This will ultimately be a decision by the President of the United States as to when to finish it. But as you mentioned, we are ahead of plan. We'll continue to degrade the capabilities in missiles, drones, and the Navy. As of today, for instance, we've sunk or severely damaged 140 ships. That effort will continue.
And Admiral, how Islamic Republic was fighting back in terms of launching lots of missiles and drones to Arab countries, Persian Gulf countries, to Israel, even to Cyprus. How were they doing that? Do they still, for instance, today or yesterday, now, do they use launchers in west of Iran, or they now moved back to eastern sides of Iran? Can you give us more details about
Yeah, we have
that?
a very clear perspective of how this is going. And my overall operational assessment is they're operating in a sign of desperation. At the beginning of the conflict, you saw large volumes in the dozens of drones and missiles. You no longer see that. It's all 1 or 2 at a time. So that is dramatically shifted. And the desperation you've seen is they've shifted from military targets. In the last couple of weeks, they've attacked civilian targets very deliberately more than 300 times. 300 times.
Do they still have big arsenals of missiles? Because how they attacked Diego Garcia a few days ago with those missiles that nobody knew about. Do you think they have other arsenals like that you could not so far detect and target?
We're very aware of the capabilities, and I wouldn't want to get into the specifics. We're watching it very closely. Clearly, they've had to shift their strategy out of desperation from one where they're focused on mass and volleys to attack to one where they're only shooting 1 or 2 at a time.
And Admiral, about the Strait of Hormuz, it's a big tension there going on. What is your plan about opening the strait, and how a coalition...
He's going to tell her his plan?
More and more countries are joining this coalition. We had yesterday, I think now it's above more than 20 countries that are part of that coalition. How these other countries can help you? What are your plans to secure the shipping there?
Yeah, a couple of thoughts here. First, I think you've seen the president's comments in the last day. I don't have anything to add to that. But what I will say is the Strait of Hormuz is physically open to transit. The reason that ships are not transiting right now is because the Islamic Republic is shooting at them with drones and missiles. Our job, and consistent with our military objectives, is to decrease the Islamic Republic's Navy's ability to attack shipping, and we are getting after that every single day.
President Trump said that it's a very simple military maneuver to do that, to secure Hormuz, and he said that it's about volume, it's about a lot of ships. Can you explain more what he means, and how is that a very simple military maneuver?
Yeah, I think he described it very well, and that's why one of our objectives is to eliminate the threat from the Navy, to diminish that, to diminish the regime's capability to attack commercial shipping. We've been working on that since the very beginning. This is why we've sunk more than 140 ships, and it's something that we'll continue to do. In my own experience, I've transited through this strait more than 50 times in my career. I'm very familiar with it, and I agree. It's straightforward what we're doing, eliminating the capability of the regime, and we're essentially degrading the capability of the Navy to attack commercial shipping.
Admiral, you said that they are shooting missiles and drones, Islamic Republic. Can you detect those launchers, target those launchers? Is it easy for Islamic Republic to build, again, launchers, like launcher after launcher? Is it easy to build those?
Well, not only can we detect them, we have been detecting them, and we have been eliminating those threats in large volumes. And we're not just focused on the things that exist today, but we're also getting after the manufacturing. So it's not just about the threat today, we're eliminating the threat for the future, both in terms of the drones, the missiles, as well as the Navy.
And the Navy, they don't have any floating thing in Persian Gulf. Do they have anything at the moment?
There's no capability presently in the Gulf of Oman, around Hormuz, or in the Gulf.
And Israel is helping you in that mission south of Iran, or no?
We're working in close cooperation throughout the country in those same military objectives.
And Admiral, going back to what President Trump wrote yesterday about the 48 hours, do you have any comments on that? And that's a concern for Iranian people.
Well, I don't have anything to add beyond his comments, but what I will say is we're very clearly focused on our objectives of eliminating those missiles, eliminating those drones, and then continuing to go after the Navy, which is directly related to the comments on Strait of Hormuz.
Admiral, this administration, from the beginning, there was a distinction between the government and the people, and that came from Secretary Rubio, and then President Trump was talking about that. This administration clearly distinguish people and the government. So that is why I'm talking about that deadline that President Trump put forward, and we are talking about infrastructures here and the worries that Iranian people have and the civilians, and if they are going to be fearful after these operations, if you are going to do anything about the power plants. I want you to describe to me what sort of measures you are taking to protect these people who are suffering under this government.
Yeah, let me talk about it kind of in two ways. Let me first talk about a message to the government and to the regime, and then a message to the people. For the government, they could stop this war right now, absolutely, if they chose to do so. For the regime, they could stop this war right now if they chose to do so. They haven't chosen to do so. My second message is they need to stop putting the wonderful Iranian people at risk by firing missiles and drones from inside populated areas. I've seen it with my own eyes. They continue to do this. They have no care for the people. They're threatening their own people. And the third point would be they need to stop immediately attacking civilians throughout the Middle East region. They've deliberately attacked and targeted 300 times. That needs to stop. So that's one side. For the Iranian people, the wonderful Iranian people who I've gotten to know over several years, including living in the region for many years, extraordinary culture, deep culture of thousands of years. My main message is this. First and foremost, we are attacking the regime in the Islamic Republic, not the wonderful people. The second piece is continue to heed our advice. We've had multiple messages that have come out that have said, beware. The government doesn't care about you. They're launching missiles and drones from populated areas. You need to stay inside for right now. Third, there will be a clear signal at some point, as the president has indicated, for you to be able to come out. And then the last thing I'd like everyone to know is I've watched this over the last week, this extraordinary contrast between the comfort and protection that you're seeing with the senior generals in the Islamic Republic, at least those that are still alive, who are up in deep bunkers and facilities in and around Tehran, and contrast that with the soldiers who are down on the ground, who are unprotected. The generals are protected, the soldiers are not protected. I've watched this in Bushehr, Shiraz, Bandar Abbas, Abu Musa Island, Konarak, Jask, Chabahar, over and over again. I think this is a story that has to be told over and over again so that the people understand exactly what's happening. The generals are protected, the people are not. And I think this is an important point.
And these other nations, other countries, Arab countries, how are you working with them? That because they're under a lot of attacks, maybe like UAE is more than Israel even.
Yes.
What are they doing?
Yeah, we continue to stand shoulder to shoulder in what has been established as the largest umbrella of air defense in the Middle East history. For decades, people have written articles and books about what Middle East air defense could look like in an integrated way, and we're seeing it today, a very thick defensive umbrella that we've put around all the countries, and we're working very closely with everyone.
And that was created a few weeks before the Operation Epic Fury. I remember there was a statement from Department of War that this NATO sort of umbrella defense alliance is coming together because there was a talk about this during President Trump's first term. You're talking about that,
the capability has been in develop for many years, involving thousands, if not tens of thousands of people. And today we see it very alive and active as a protection mechanism.
And how do you define Israel's role here in defending the Arab countries? Because we know some European countries are involved in defending those Arab countries. How do you define Israel's role here?
Well, to speak precisely, Israel is attacking drones and ballistic missiles that are aimed at Arab countries, and attacking and defeating them.
I want to ask you about the MEUs, the 11th and the 31st units that are, I don't know about 11th. There are rumors that they are coming to Middle East from San Diego, but we know maybe it's more a fact that the 31st unit is coming from Japan to Middle East. Can you say what is the purpose of these units and if they're going to go in?
Yeah, I won't talk specifically about what we're going to do operationally. What I will say is we're very focused on our military objectives, and we've seen very clearly that our capabilities continue to grow, our strength grows, and over the last 3 weeks, the Islamic Republic's capability have dramatically declined. And we'll see what happens here in the future.
So you mean maybe it's not needed to go in?
These are options that are being generated. Let's see what happens here in the end.
And other than Khark, which is a bit north of and away from Strait of Hormuz, are you thinking about other small islands like Kish, which is closer, Lark, they are closer to Hormuz? Are you considering those as well?
Yeah, as you would appreciate from my many years living in the region, I'm very familiar with where the options could be. And from an operational perspective, I just wouldn't want to talk about them here. But the options are on the table, and I think we'll just have to see where things go. In the meantime, we're just going to focus for now on our military objectives.
And Admiral, do you think in future there's going to be a change in how Strait of Hormuz is controlled?
Well, I'm confident that our efforts, and particularly focused on degrading the Iranian military, will set conditions for the future. And as you've seen in the news, you now see multinational and national organizations stepping up. So we'll have to see what that looks like. But I am confident.
Admiral, how your goals, the U.S. goals in this conflict and Israeli goal, how are they? Do they have overlapping? Are they the same? Are there any differences?
Yeah, I think in practical terms, in pragmatic terms, you see us conducting the same types of missions. We're eliminating the ballistic missile threat. We're eliminating the drone threat. We're eliminating the manufacturing so that the Islamic Republic cannot project power outside of its borders.
Is that going to change? Are you going to change the way you operate in because you're sharing obviously some part of the operation. Taking out the missile arsenal factories, it's on US, and maybe targeting generals and commanders is on Israel.
Yeah.
Is that going to change in future?
I wouldn't want to tip what we're going to look like in the future, but right now we're just focused on other things, the main military objectives.
And what is going to happen, in your opinion, that you're going to call that a good end? It's time to end it. What should happen?
This will be a decision by the President of the United States.
So as a commander, you cannot give us any detail.
Well, from my perspective, the President will have this final decision. In the near term, we're going to focus on our military objectives, and my assessment overall is that we are ahead of plan, that our combat power is increasing dramatically, and the Islamic Republic's combat power is decreasing dramatically.
Thank you so much, Admiral. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Alexa,
I
stop.
appreciate it.
Courtesy of Iran International. That was an extensive interview, actually. It was longer than I anticipated. Good morning, Malfunction. And Arash. And Chris. And Thomas. Mark. All of you in there. But I'm glad what he said before we heard what happened this morning with the president's Truth Social post and the Iranians denying it. Excuse me. He made the objective very clear. Missiles, everything regarding missiles. Drones, everything regarding production, taking them out, etc. And their Navy. Even when she asked him about the 48-hour deadline, which is not happening now, I'm glad he answered the question the way he did. And how you gonna ask him? How you gonna ask an admiral what his plans are? That always gets me. Like he's gonna discuss anything specific with you. I mean, really, really. And then she's trying to ask the question a different way to see if she can get him to bite. Obviously, he's not gonna bite. I mean, my gosh, you have to wonder sometimes with these people that do the interview. You know what I mean? I shake my head. Anyway, let's get on to more. Again, Iran this morning. Remember, it's afternoon now. More. Damage. I believe they took someone out, and I think I have a picture of who that person might have been. I'm not saying it was. Wow. Wow. That's cray-cray. That is cray-cray. He's a missile scientist. I don't know if this is the picture. Yeah, him. Allegedly, I believe this was reported from the media, Israeli media, that this missile scientist was eliminated. So I don't know if that was who was targeted, but this is what the Israeli media is reporting, that he was a missile scientist and was eliminated. But the big story this morning is his Truth Social post saying, we've had talks over the last couple days, very productive, with Iran. We're postponing for 5 days any strikes on their power plants and energy infrastructure as meetings and discussions continue. I've ordered the military not to do it. And I'm like, what? And the Iranians are completely denying it. So I don't know what the heck is going on. But the market's open now. Is it 9? Or is it 9:30 it opens? Regardless, the last I checked, Brent crude was at $103 $4.88. Keep an eye on the market today. Keep an eye on the market. Based on his statements, that could definitely be strategic on bringing the prices down. I'm just saying. Just saying. Keep an eye. So, let me see what the latest is. WTI crude is now at 89.48. Brent is dropping more. It's at 101 now. It's dropping. It is dropping. So keep an eye on that all day long. It looks like it's going to dip below 100 definitely by the end of the day, the way it's looking right now. That's what I'm seeing. Yep, it's now down to 100. It's dropping. It's dropping as I'm speaking. It opened at 113. Oh, it just bounced up again. Look. Look at that. Uh-oh. Look at that.
Hostile aircraft intrusion. Misgav
It's going to drop below 100. So the markets are reacting to his Truth Social post. And I'm not expecting it to drop like to 90. I'd be shocked because there's still a lot going on in the region. But this could definitely dip below 100. I could see that happening. So keep an eye on the markets today. That would be my advice. Just to keep a gauge based on what he posted. So just keep an eye on that. And remember, he said that he's going to postpone any attacks on the power plants or energy infrastructure. That doesn't mean everything else is off the table. You heard the Admiral make the statements that we're going to continue our mission. This has nothing to do with power plants or energy infrastructure. It has to do with the mission, which includes taking out their Navy, taking out their drone capability and missile capability. He didn't even mention about the enriched uranium part. So I don't see anything really changing other than he's not going to strike because he claims that they're negotiating and they've had productive talks over the last couple of days. I don't know who he's talking to, but they're denying it. It's very interesting how the markets react like that, just on something like that. It is, Navy Mom, and good morning. It really is. So, pretty much I think we caught up with all the videos. Let me just see if this what these photos are. Oh yeah, this is the damage in Iran. It looks like they definitely were targeting individuals. At least that's what it looks like to me. Oh, why did that do that? Why is that doing that? Again, that photo's not necessarily great, but you get the idea. Let's see this photo. Looks like pretty much the same photo. Let's try. There's a lot of photos. Yep. So you got to wonder, what were they targeting? Okay, same thing. Let's go to the photos on the top here. Oh yeah, this is part of it too. This damage from that scene. So it's just different angles. And I believe that's it with the images. Let's check Telegram and see what's going on. Trump, Iran wants to make a deal badly. Could happen in the next 5 days. I don't know what the heck is going on. A deal with whom? Who's he talking to? Speaking to Fox Business, Trump said that talks with Iran took place as recently as last night, led by top White House envoys. Oh my gosh, here we go. Kushner and Witkoff. Oh. An indication the president is eager to calm market jitters and bring energy prices down. That's what we're talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Makes sense. That's why I checked out the markets. Iran's parliament speaker, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, is currently one of the most powerful figures in Iran and appears to be playing a central leadership role as the mouse remains largely unseen and reportedly unresponsive.
Hostile aircraft intrusion. Alarm. Margaliot. Kiryat Shimona.
He is therefore considered a prime target. And they're also sharing about how the oil market is dropping. They're also sharing it too. An Israeli reporter just put this out. Look at this. It's down almost 11%. Look at that. Oh boy.
Hostile aircraft intrusion.
Drones. Seriously injured. What? Someone was seriously injured in Kiryat Shimona, northern Israel. Oh my God, what happened with this bus? Are those gunshot holes? I don't know what that. Oh, was that an explosion like with shrapnel? Like a cluster bomb.
Hostile aircraft intrusion. Misgav Am.
I don't know. And that's the latest so far being posted. I don't know. I'm confused myself, I gotta be honest. I've been thinking all morning that maybe he's been talking to Reza Pahlavi, but
Hostile aircraft intrusion. Dovev.
how does... That's not Iran.
Naftali.
It's not the people in Iran that can stop it. He has no power to stop this.
Kfar Giladi.
They're saying, the regime is saying, the people, whoever is there, they're denying it. They're saying, hell no, we're not talking to them directly or indirectly. So who is he talking to? They're in complete denial of it, but they would deny it anyway. Again, the spokesman for the National Security Committee in the Iranian parliament, which the parliament is so radical. They're all cray-cray. Trump and America have retreated again. The battle continues to progress rapidly. Another defeat for the devil. That's what they said. We deny what U.S. President Donald Trump said regarding negotiations taking place between the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran. The Islamic Republic of Iran adheres to its position, rejecting any type of negotiations before achieving Iran's goals from the war. Iran's position on the Strait of Hormuz has not changed, and the strait will remain closed to those who attack the Islamic Republic and its people. That's what they're putting out. Oh, they just put something else out now. Oh, it was a Hezbollah rocket. Oh, I'm not showing that. It's graphic. Oh, hell no. Hezbollah rocket hit. They're claiming that it was a Hezbollah rocket that hit the bus. But it's graphic, so I'm not showing it. I ain't going to be part of their propaganda. Now, if the Crown Prince was in Iran and he had the power to make decisions for Iran, I would say, okay, he's not in a position of power. I mean, what is Reverend Pahlavi going to say? Now, Pahlavi did issue his concern about targeting the infrastructure because it would affect the people of Iran. He did make a statement about that. We can look that up. But he has no role in making decisions for the current regime. Let me see if he's made any statements. This was yesterday. Iran's civilian infrastructure belongs to the Iranian people and to the future of a free Iran. The Islamic Republic's infrastructure is the machinery of repression and terror used to keep that future from being a reality. Iran must be protected. The regime must be dismantled. I asked President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu to continue targeting the regime and its apparatus of repression while sparing the civilian infrastructure Iranians will need to rebuild our country. With the support of the United States and Israel, and above all the sacrifice of Iranian patriots, the hour of Iran's freedom is at hand. Long live Iran. That was his statement yesterday. So he was sending definitely his concerns about hitting the infrastructure, and the Arab countries definitely were concerned because their infrastructure was threatened too, including their desalinization plants, which could affect 100 million people in the region. So I think that they thought about it. And at the same time, by making that announcement, it helps the market, the oil. So we'll see how this plays out. But I was kind of surprised when I woke up this morning and saw that True Social post. I got to be honest, I was surprised. I was like, I wasn't expecting this morning. You set a hard deadline, 48 hours, and all of a sudden, you're talking to them? Which could make sense because you got to work behind backdoor channels to try to have a conversation. But was Qatar involved? Because I heard the Qataris were trying to get involved in trying to come up with some kind of a negotiation. I don't know. Pretty wild, though. Meanwhile, we hear the alerts going on in Israel to the north. You know that's not going to stop. They were striking Tehran this morning. So I don't think any of that's going to change. But I was like, whoa. So let's see what happens. Now it's like, what happens in the next few days? And now I'm thinking, because he doesn't want to affect the markets, he probably won't react until after Friday it closes. Because he wants to see if it calms down. The markets calm down. He might honestly wait the whole week. But then what happens next weekend? Oh gosh, too early in the morning for this. Let me mute. All right, everybody. I have an emergency call on the line. So I will be back later. My blessings to all of you. Be well, be blessed, be safe. Keep an eye out for Tusi. Keep an eye out for everyone else. I will be back later on because I have to take care of something that's really important.